Oh ja, dat kan niet dat krijgen. Nee. Met die schaar.
Maar kom je voor het anders strek de schaar weer achterin. Kom maar.
Nog?
Ja, nee. Zie je de camera?
Dank je. Ik zag nog met die van de Maria.
Ja.
It's not on. There we go. With the age comes the glasses. So let me just change my glasses. There we go. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, guests of honor. It is my pleasure to ask our Acting Vice-Chancellor and Director, Professor Nico Koopman, to welcome you at this prestigious event tonight. Prof. Nico Koopman is also the Deputy Vice-Chancellor for Social Impact, Transformation and Personnel at Stellenbosch University. Prof. Koopman.
Thank you, colleague Christel Veit, for the introduction. Good evening, distinguished guests. Welcome to this very special event. I hope you can taste the energy, you can feel it. Having our French colleagues with us, having South African colleagues. I told the ambassador just now, it's not only France, Stellenbosch tonight, it's also Stellenbosch seeing each other physically, and thanks for creating that possibility for us as well. I'm acting today on behalf of Stellenbosch University's Rector and Vice-Chancellor Prof Benoit Divol. He's not in the country at the moment and sends his congratulations and good wishes. Before I start, soyez les bienvenus, Monsieur l'Ambassadeur. Very welcome, Mr. Ambassador Aurélien le Chevalier. It's truly an honor to have you attend this event, and I hope you, with your colleagues, will enjoy the evening with us. A very special word of welcome as well to Prof Benoit Divol from Stellenbosch University's Department of Viticulture and Oenology, and the South African Grape and Wine Research Institute, who is being honored tonight. You are the main reason we are here, dear colleague. We are glad that your mother is here, your next of kin is with you, and welcome to you as well. I would also like to welcome and thank the Dean of the Faculty of Agri-Sciences, Prof Dani Brink, for attending this event and for co-hosting this event tonight. Welcome, Prof Brink. As you are all aware, Stellenbosch is in the heart of the South African wine country. I think it's safe to say Stellenbosch is the heart of wine country, and through centuries have built up an international reputation as one of the world's best wine destinations. Stellenbosch University's Department of Viticulture and Oenology has played a big role in establishing and promoting the region's wine culture. Through research and by training skilled winemakers, the university has invested in communities locally and abroad. The university has played, thus, a transformative social impact role locally and, without sounding pretentious, globally. Professor Divol's involvement in the wine industry is a prime example of our international reach. Professor Divol has been connected to Stellenbosch University since 2005 and has moved up the ranks since then, first as chair and subsequently being promoted to associate professor in 2017. He has made a massive contribution to scientific research as well as enhancing research cooperation between France and South Africa, particularly in the fields of viticulture and oenology. And it's for these reasons that he is being recognized by the French government. One of Stellenbosch University's core strategic themes reads like this: purposeful partnerships and inclusive networks. And through his work, Prof Divol has established and expanded networks within his field of expertise and created unique opportunities for his students. So, Prof Divol, we are honored to have you to be part of the Stellenbosch University community and congratulate you on this significant achievement. Again, thank you, Mr. Ambassador, for recognizing one of your countrymen and one of our professors. And thank you for being here with your delegation tonight. I hope you enjoy the rest of the evening with us. Very welcome.
Thank you, Professor Koopman. It is now an honor to invite His Excellency Aurélien Le Chevalier, Ambassador of France to South Africa, to the podium for the ceremonial award of this prestigious knighthood for agricultural merit to Professor Benoit Divol. Mr. Ambassador, we are honored by your presence. It's a wonderful evening to be together with you. His Excellency Le Chevalier.
Good evening. Acting Vice-Chancellor, Professor Nico Koopman, representing the Vice-Chancellor, Wim de Villiers, Dean of the Faculty of Agri-Sciences, Professor Danny Brink, Vice-Dean, Professor Merite Dutoit, Head of Department of Modern Foreign Languages, Catherine Dutoit. I'm using the French pronunciation now. Interim Director for South African Grape and Wine Research Institute, Mélène Viver. Senior Director for Communications, Ms. Christelle Fate, our Program Director. Senior Director, Postgraduate and International Office, Mr. Robert Kodze. Senior Director, Research and Innovation, Professor Terina Theron. Consul General, Laurent Alberti, and Mrs. Deputy Consul General, dear Florence, Counselor to the French community in the Western Cape, Mr. Alexandre Barrière-Izard, ladies and gentlemen, all you distinguished guests, mesdames et messieurs, dear students, dear friends and family of Benoit, thank you very much for coming here in Stellenbosch from France, especially tonight for this special occasion. And dear Benoit, thank you very much for being here tonight at the Stellenbosch Institutes for Advanced Study for this exceptional ceremony. And we're glad to be here. We had a very fruitful seminar with the Vice Chancellor last February at the Glenelly Wine Estates. We had a beautiful ceremony for a French award as well with Professor Tuli Madonsela, the Dean of the Law Faculty last, was it April, May? Today, again, we had very important meetings for the new school in Stellenbosch of climate studies. So it's been, all in all, a very auspicious year between France and Stellenbosch University, and we are very happy and honored with that. But today we are here to celebrate a young scientist and professor. As an experienced award giver, I can tell you that bestowing such important distinction upon a young man like Benoit is quite outstanding. This really gives you an idea about the impressive professional achievements of Benoit. And it's all the more remarkable as Benoit is the only person to receive the Agricultural Merit Award this year in South Africa. I think that deserves... We are here indeed to celebrate a great advocate of the rich and ever-renewed collaboration between France and South Africa in winemaking. And for this, you chose one of the best sanctuaries the planet is blessed with, the Cape Winelands. Nurtured by French Huguenots, immigrants from the end of the 17th century, the place has a literal air of France, as the toponymy and the geography and the lifestyle is here to recall. When walking in Franschhoek and Stellenbosch, one is surrounded by beauties, but also by names of France's regions: Champagne, La Provence, Bourgogne, L'Avenir, La Motte, Le Bonheur, as the settlers named their new farms from French names, French properties, and the French areas where they were coming from. The place is home to many French students today and academics, and is visited by French tourists all year long, as you may know. And we really hope that the tourism season will be exceptional in the area in Stellenbosch, in Franschhoek, and in Western Cape this end of the year. One could not have dreamt of a better place to advance the French-South African collaboration, rooted with a rich legacy and a vibrant French-South African atmosphere. You have definitely chosen the right place, Benoit. Before delving into your academic work and achievements, Professor Divol, let me introduce the audience, our distinguished audience today, to some elements of your first years in France. You were born in 1978 in Paris. And please don't hesitate to tell me if I'm wrong. The City of Lights. Is that true?
77.
In 77. You look younger. In Paris.
That's true.
The City of Lights, a truly international city, capital city, the city of lovers and cafes, and of course a temple of gastronomy and wine. Then you decided to move from Paris to Bordeaux, another gastronomy and wine temple, to work on the ground and study enology and empelography, the field of botany concerned with the identification and classification of grapevines. After completing your bachelor and master degrees, you embarked on a PhD journey in process and environmental engineering in Toulouse, another wonderful French region. The careful listener will note that you seem to choose the cities you live in by their food and wine reputation. In Toulouse, you brilliantly completed your PhD in 3 years only. For the record, I will name the title of your PhD thesis: Regulation of the PGU1 gene in Saccharomyces cerevisiae, implication in aroma release and improvement of filtration in wine. Please do not ask me to elaborate on that paragraph. PhD topics always amaze us. They sound as mysterious as exciting. In 2005, you made a very important decision, a decisive decision in your life when you moved to Stellenbosch. And I weighed my words. I don't want to anger our fellow Capetonian friends, but once in Stellenbosch, you stay in Stellenbosch. It's hard to leave it, even for Cape Town dwellers. I'm told on a very good authority that you like to stay here and enjoy its unique scenery and academic ecosystem. It is all the more understandable given the amazing landscapes and the warm intellectual atmosphere and entrepreneur atmosphere around us. Blessed with an unrivaled climate in all the meanings of the term, Stellenbosch echoes for every South African a positive image of gentle and refined lifestyle, of knowledge and talents, exemplified by its famous Dutch architecture, university, research centers, and vineyards, of course. It reminds me of my native Loire Valley in the middle of France. So coming to Stellenbosch is never a sacrifice. It's always a pleasure, and it feels a little bit like home. Benoit, you started to work in Stellenbosch as a postdoctoral fellow in the Institute for Wine Biotechnology of the university. Then you rapidly rose the academic steps. In 2007, you were appointed as a researcher in wine biotechnology. In 2013, as a senior lecturer in œnology, and in 2017 as an associate professor at the Department of Viticulture and Enology. As such, you were elected in 2017 head of the department. A great achievement indeed, made possible by the incredible welcoming of Stellenbosch teams, professors, and students. In the field of research, your work focuses on the yeasts and enzymes used in the winemaking process. You pay special attention to non-Saccharomyces yeast species. Is my pronunciation correct?
Yeah, that's okay.
Almost. You will learn more about this in a minute. How they take up and use nutrients, as well as their influence on wine composition overall. The study of these yeasts worldwide only started recently, maybe 2 decades ago. These yeasts tend to be less adapted to survive the fermentation process that turns grape juice into wine than the traditional Saccharomyces yeasts. Nevertheless, they display very interesting and promising properties, as you were able to identify them, Benoit. Indeed, several studies have shown that during spontaneous fermentation of wine, these yeasts play an important role in the definition of the sensory quality of the final product. So now we understand how promising it is. Thanks to the great amount of research you carried out at the university, one of the yeasts you have discovered is expected to be commercialized in the next 2 years. Your work is also a great example of a win-win and fruitful collaboration with the private sector, as you received funding from your research, from industry partners also in France. You also worked on ways to deal with droughts to improve water management in vineyards, as climate change will increase the frequencies of droughts in the near future. It is of paramount importance to find ways to adapt and to build climate-resilient grapevines. In France too, our winelands will face the same challenges, and your work could absolutely contribute to safeguarding those ecosystems and improving the know-how of wine producers. And today, we are also celebrating your endeavors, dear professor, to form academic bonds between France and South Africa, of course. You have done a great job in fostering research alliances, postgraduate study program interactions, staff and student mobility, and joint PhD studies between Stellenbosch University and different French institutions, like your native national or alma mater, National Polytechnic Institute of Toulouse, the University of Montpellier as well, and the University of Burgundy. This allows us to recall that you are one of the greatest advocates of the cooperation, the existing and long-lasting cooperation between Burgundy and the Western Cape province. So many achievements indeed. You have also created bridges between France and South Africa by providing great professional and personal opportunities for your students. As a result, you contributed positively to the international standing of the Department of Viticulture and Enology at Stellenbosch University, as well as the South African Grape and the Wine Research Institute. It is already a very impressive journey. But these portraits could not be complete if we would miss quoting your engagement, your commitment towards your fellow countrymen and the French community. As our Consul General, Laurent, or the Cape Town coordinator for the French South African Chamber of Commerce could confirm, you always answer present for meetings and gatherings organized by the French Consulate or the French South African Chamber of Commerce. You also participated in the visits of our Minister for Foreign Trade in South Africa last November in 2020. Each time you demonstrated a clear commitment to our local community's life, to France's influence, but also you showed your sense of measure, your ability to convey messages concisely, and last but not least, your courtesy. It's indeed crucial that important members of the French community show the way to newcomers by attending events, answering questions, and providing guidance as experienced French living in South Africa. Your achievements speak of excellence, dedication, care, and solidarity. We wish to express our highest gratitude and sincerest appreciation. Don't worry, Benoit, it's almost over. Because I feel that it's difficult for you to stand so many compliments at once. But it's very well deserved for what you have done, and wish you the best in all your endeavors. Benoit, we need more people like you, passionate about your work and by people involved in the community and dedicated to French and South African excellence. Winemaking is all about history, art, and science, intermingled with social and economic aspects. You said that wine embodies life as a whole, and today we want to pay tribute to you for that reason. To conclude, I would like to make 3 final comments. I would like to pay tribute again to your family and your loved ones, who, for some of them, traveled all the way from France to assist to this very special ceremony with us. While you were far away from your family during those 15 years, Stellenbosch welcomed you and adopted you like a local family. This new family, the one you chose, is here around you today. And during all those years, your 2 families never let you down. Stellenbosch believed in you and nurtured you. Under the umbrella of the university, Benoit has grown and matured, and like the finest wine, of course, which develop over time new flavors and aromas, Benoit has become a fully fledged scientific and gentleman, thanks to wonderful surrounding conditions. And now comes the more formal part of the ceremony. For all these reasons, we have the honor and pleasure, dear Benoit Divol, Professor, on behalf of the Minister for Agriculture of the French government and by virtue of the authority vested in me, to bestow upon you the title of Knight of the Order of Agricultural Merit. Professeur Benoit Divol, au nom du gouvernement français et en vertu des pouvoirs qui nous sont conférés, nous vous faisons chevalier dans l'ordre national du mérite agricole. And this evening it's also very special because usually we have a red official support for the medal, but tonight, as you may have seen, we had a little embroidered cushion from the mother of Benoit to bestow the medal at the ceremony. Thank you very much, Madame. I'm not that tall. Thank you so much. I also have my little cheat sheet. Monsieur l'ambassadeur, Monsieur le consul général, Mr. Deputy Vice Chancellor, dear colleagues, students, family, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a bit emotional now, so sorry, might be a bit nasal. I feel deeply honored, profoundly moved, and somewhat shocked all at the same time, so thank you very much. Mr. Ambassador, I did some research, I guess that's a professional quirk, on the distinction that you've just bestowed upon me. It revealed that Louis Pasteur was actually one of the very first recipients back in 1883. While I couldn't possibly pretend to walk in the steps of this truly remarkable scientist and humanist, it is truly flattering and inspiring honor to receive the same distinction, especially because Pasteur is considered as the father of wine microbiology, which is my very own field of research. Preparing this little speech tonight allowed me to reflect on the past, on how I ended up here tonight. And don't worry, I'm not going to bore you about the details of my research field. But I guess the truth is by accident, or you can see, or maybe you can consider it by chance. As you said, Mr. Ambassador, I was born and raised in the agglomeration of Paris. So I guess I was not quite predestined to become an enologist, and yet here I am. I guess it took a lot of passion, family support, hard work, and a touch of luck, probably in this order. I was probably 10 or 11 years old when my teachers started to ask me what I wanted to do later. And how on earth are you supposed to know at such a young age? And it was only in the final year of high school, I still had no clue at that time, and it became quite a bit stressful. My parents were teachers themselves, so the one thing I knew for sure was that I did not want to become a teacher. Just remind me what I do. So in the vast ocean of possibilities, I narrowed it down year after year. First science, then biology, then agricultural sciences, then enology, even though I didn't know much about wine at the time, except that it was something quite special. I was raised in a house where water is the only beverage on the table, and good wine is added only on special occasions. So early on, I regarded wine as a noble beverage, deeply rooted in our culture and traditions, associated with pleasure, family and friends, yet intricate and mysterious. And I still do. In many ways, as you reminded everybody here, wine, in my opinion, impersonates life, all forms of life. The true epiphany occurred later in my student career when I got exposed to research during my master's degree. From there on, the die was cast, and I finally knew what I wanted to be, a researcher. Even though I enjoyed working in the winery, this was a lot more stimulating and exciting for me. And my grandfather, I remember, summarized it very well then. He told me, a lab coat suits you much better than gumboots. One person played a critical role in this epiphany, and I must seize this opportunity to thank sincerely Professor Aline Lonvaux, my then PhD supervisor. Her passion for research and for wine, her mentorship, and her work ethics remain a genuine source of inspiration today. And although we never discussed palimpsest together, we happen to share a passion for old books. In particular, those talking about winemaking. Pasteur actually said that une bouteille de vin contient plus de philosophie que tous les livres. A bottle of wine contains more philosophy than all the books in the world. And I truly share this sentiment, even though I truly value books as well. When I think about wine, I think about the vineyards, I think about the people behind the art of growing grapes and making wine, and of course, I think about the microbes that turn uninspiring grape juice into an astonishing and mysterious beverage. Deeply rooted in tradition, in history, yet interacting with the present and looking towards the future. Wine is like human life. I share the passion and the ideal of the winemakers who strive to make the best possible wine every new vintage, reinventing the art of winemaking, reinventing life every vintage. I was born to parents that were and still are amazingly loving,
caring, generous, supportive, and last but not least, incredibly stimulating, both intellectually and physically. I only realized later in my life how lucky and privileged my sister and I have been and still are. And it is partly thanks to them that I'm standing here today, advancing one step at a time, following my heart, because my parents gave me that chance. Of course, it took a lot of patience and tenacity, not to forget naivety, curiosity, and boldness. It has never been easy for me to move out of my comfort zone, and I'm definitely out of my comfort zone tonight in front of you. But I learned that this is also what life is about. Now I can tell my students, be curious, get excited about the most simple things in life, and be bold. I saw a student last week in a practical getting so excited because for the first time ever, he managed to see a bacterium under a microscope. And it sounds stupid, but it was refreshing to witness. I believe that curiosity and excitement are keys to happiness and success. Pasteur also said, savoir s'étonner à propos est le premier pas fait sur la route de la découverte. Knowing how to marvel timely is the first step on the way to discovery. As a researcher, I couldn't agree more. Research, like life and wine, are all about curiosity, naivety, and tenacity in the wait of a rare and fleeting eureka moment. I remember my very first flight to South Africa, 31st of May 2005. I still remember the date vividly. Leaving everything behind to go and live in a country about 10,000 kilometers from home, in another hemisphere. All I knew about South Africa was from the few stories told by two South African interns from Stellenbosch University who spent a few months in the laboratory where I was doing my PhD. And they will recognize themselves because incidentally they are in the audience tonight. I suppose that the stories were not too bad because I got the opportunity, as soon as I got the opportunity, I took a leap of faith, guided by curiosity and boldness, and I'm glad I did. Interestingly, living in a foreign country is a true eye-opener on your home country. You get to appreciate more what people back at home take for granted, and you truly learn a lot, including about yourself. South Africa is a beautiful country, and Stellenbosch University offered me great opportunities for which I am eternally grateful. And once established as an academic in South Africa, it was only natural to seek and promote partnership and collaboration with France, for the sake of science, of winemaking, for myself and for my students. Because I believe that one becomes richer when one travels and experiences another culture professionally and personally. And when I say richer, I'm not talking about money. Monsieur l'Ambassadeur, you know that French people don't easily acknowledge this, but tonight, and as much as I love South Africa, I feel incredibly proud to be French, to live by and advertise a certain French art de vivre, and to contribute, even though very modestly, to the international presence and influence of France in the world. I will continue to advocate collaboration between France and South Africa, and while doing so, to uphold scientific excellence and promote good wines. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me just to end with a few words in my home language. Monsieur l'Ambassadeur, je vous remercie une dernière fois très sincèrement pour cette décoration qui me touche profondément et que j'apprécie à sa juste valeur. J'en suis très fier et j'espère m'en montrer digne. Je dois aussi vous remercier car grâce à cette occasion, j'ai le bonheur d'accueillir une partie de ma famille qui n'était pas venue depuis plusieurs années. J'attends donc la prochaine décoration avec impatience. Blague à part, je remercie du fond du cœur les membres de ma famille qui ont fait le déplacement depuis la France, tout spécialement pour être présents aujourd'hui. It means a lot to me. Je remercie également ceux qui malheureusement n'ont pas pu venir et qui, grâce à la technique, suivent la retransmission en direct. Et j'espère vous accueillir une prochaine fois. Thank you very much to all. Je vous remercie.
Wow, beautiful, a beautiful moment. Thank you so much. It is tonight also for Stellenbosch University indeed an honor also to salute our Faculty of Agri-Sciences. for the outstanding work in research, teaching and learning, and also the social impact on society in general and in particular, local but also globally. I therefore invite the Dean, Professor Dani Brink, to the podium for conclusory remarks, after which you are invited to further celebrations in the foyer. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Prof Dani.
Thank you, Christelle. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me also in my best French to congratulate, particularly on behalf of the faculty, for Benoit on the award, which is grounded in sincere commitment and also innovative vision and leadership that underpins the award. More so, Mr. Ambassador, to the French government on behalf of its people, recognizing Benoit's contribution from a foreign country, from the midst of Stellenbosch University. It's a true inspiration, not only to our students, but also to fellow academics, and we really acknowledge and appreciate that very much. Also to Professor Koopman and Christelle, representing university management tonight, for your support to our faculties in the plural. Only that is making possible for researchers to achieve awards such as this. From the southern tip of Africa, dare I say sometimes against extreme odds. So thank you very much for the support that also contributes no less to these achievements. But then most importantly to you in the audience tonight, I think it's so important also for us as fellow colleagues, local citizens, to acknowledge and celebrate with Benoit, with the French government and the university in this award. So thank you very much for your attendance. And as Christelle said, please enjoy the most important part of the evening and extend the festivities with the informal celebrations on the courtyard. Thank you very much. Bye, donkey.
Let's move outside.
You want to stand on the other side so we can see the... There we go. That looks much nicer.
You see the bouquet with the French colors?